There are a few things scattered throughout the world I want to accomplish before we get to the second Divine Beast. So I am going to be getting various towers to ensure we have an easy teleport point to all locations we will be needing, but we will be eventually going over to Zora's domain to meet Link's future husband, Sidon. And I really hope he likes Link's cute new outfit. The first thing I set out to do was to gather a third ancient core. I already had 2 of them, and I wanted to get 3, so that way we could go over to the Hateno lab to get the stasis upgrade. So I ended up trying to kill a whole bunch of Guardian Scouts, hoping one would drop an ancient core. The first one did not. The second one also did not. The third one, again, parried all the lasers again. Still did not drop one. Fourth one. Can we finally get it? Nope, still none. And then the 5th one. Still did not. So I am really desperate at this point to try and find ancient core. And then I get hit and have to use up one of my fairies. I ended up just taking out its legs on the 6th one I was going to defeat. And stabbing him to death. But luckily, this time, finally, we got the ancient core drop we needed, and what a relief that was. So I made my way over to the final tower location I wanted to get today, which is of course going to be the Hateno Tower. That way we will easily be able to make our way over to Hateno Village, and subsequently the Hateno Lab. Now, we're going to be activating a side quest in order to activate the lab, in which we will need to bring this blue flame over to the lab. And usually it takes a long time because you have to walk all the way up the mountain because you cannot run while holding a lit torch. But I actually used a glitch called weapon smuggling in order to be able to run with the torch. And that made this actually very quick process. I could even whistle sprint while weapon smuggling a torch. So that was able to really speed up the amount of time this quest takes. And we made it to the top, activated the quest, and then I could finally get the stasis upgrade I wanted. The reason I wanted to get the stasis upgrade is because I get, with this very low defense armor, I get hit and killed in one shot often. And being able to get the stasis upgrade allows me to freeze enemies and get a bunch of hits in them easily, and because I am not the best at combat in this game, I think that could be quite useful. As you can see, while I'm there, I also get the hammer rune, I get the stasis upgrade, and I also upgrade the bombs. Now, my next goal will actually be something some of you may find a bit surprising. I am going to go and get the Master Sword. Now, astute viewers may be pointing out, you do not have 13 hearts. How can you go get the Master Sword? Well, we're going to be using another glitch here, because you do need 13 hearts in order to get the Master Sword, but I don't want to go get 13 hearts. So we're just going to be doing a little glitch. I'm going to show it off to get the Master Sword early. I made my way through the Lost Woods relatively easily. Now here we are, face to face with the Master Sword. I'm sure the great Deku Tree is thinking, there's no way his twink weak ass can get this Master Sword. But I definitely can. So the first thing we're going to do is build a fire right next to the Master Sword. And we are going to then look up at the sky and sit at the fire. It doesn't matter when we wait towards, we're just going to wait till the morning. And then during this animation, we are going to be mashing the A button. And then as you can see here, that will allow us to pull out the Master Sword. For a little bit of extra preparation, I decided to go over to Kakariko Village and grab some fairies. These fairies will allow us to restore 5 hearts even when we are hit to death. And hopefully that will come in clutch a few times when we end up getting one-shot a lot with our weak armor. We ended up making it to the site of the second Divine Beast. We were going to be doing Zora's Domain. Now, again, you may be wondering, why'd you skip over all that process? How'd you get there so quick? I hope you know the answer by that by now. Yeah, we used BLS. But actually, we got stopped along the way on this mountainside. I encountered a Hinox that I decided to take on. I figured he'd have some good weapon drops and such. And He almost one-shot me with his foot. I lived on barely any health from just the slightest tap of his foot. And that was pretty embarrassing. It kind of showed how weak and frail I am. And then, also, something crazy happened. I got one-shot by his death animation and had to use a fairy from his death animation. I mean, this armor set is just so weak. But either way, we made it to Zora's domain without too many hiccups. And now we will be meeting Link's future husband right here. My favorite character in this game, Prince Sidon. For anyone wondering, this is probably the most important part of the run, because what even is the point of dressing up like a cute femboy if you can't impress a handsome fish prince while doing it? In order to impress him, though, we had to defeat this Lionel first, which would prove to be a formidable challenge with my weak armor and my lackluster combat skills. Now, my first idea was to go into bullet time and hit him with some shots, but that clearly didn't work at first. So then I decided to abuse the heck out of my newfound ability, Stasis, being able to freeze enemies. And pretty much that is what I did in order to win this whole fight. I froze him with Stasis and I hit him a bunch. And this made me really glad that I decided to go a bit out of my way. I did get one flurry rush while it was going on. But outside of that, we just freeze him, we hit him. Made me so grateful I decided to go out of my way and get this upgrade. Made all those Guardian Scouts I defeated so much more worth it. After defeating him and gathering the necessary shock arrows we needed to go and board the Divine Beast, I went atop the peak of the mountain and immediately flew down to go and meet up with Sidon. When I flew down to go see him, I was hoping he would be impressed by my cute armor and find me charming and cute, but he ended up telling me, no, I don't really like your outfit actually. I think you should put on something else, which made me a bit sad. He told me that I had to put on the Zora armor, so just this once I had to switch out of my full femboy fit in order to progress the plot of the game. And I ended up missing this shot atrociously. I'd seen some people in speedruns make that before, and I thought maybe I could do it, not even close. But anyway, I ended up riding Sidon really aggressively all the way, all the way to victory here. Board the Divine Beast, and pretty much as soon as I do, I switch out of the Zora armor and put back on my cute fit. Thank God I gotta get out of that horrible fit. I want to look cute again. And now, one thing about this is that you maybe thought I had to put it back on in order to swim up that waterfall, but no, I just ended up using Rivali's Gale there specifically in order to get past that. I defeated all the puzzles, pretty much skipped through them because they were pretty dry. And here we go. We were going to fight Water Blight Ganon. And now this fight, I again do this, pretty much make the same mistake I make with the Lionel and think, alright, I'll just do some bullet time shenanigans, hit him with a bunch of shock arrows. I have a Lionel bow now that should do a fair bit of damage. And he says, nope, get speared, Lamau, your ass. And I have to use up a fairy. So I learned from my Lionel fight again, and this time just abuse the fuck out of Stasis. We love to see it. This is why I went to Hateno Village and learned weapon smuggling. Am I carried by Stasis? Maybe a little bit. But it's like saying Steph Curry's carried by his three-point shot. It's not my fault the ability's broken. I worked really hard to get that Stasis. I deserve to be able to easily defeat any boss in the game. Come on. So we end up getting him back to second phase, and this time it's pretty similar, but this time he says ice to meet you, so we shut down the ice pretty easily. Hit him with some more arrows, swim over to him, hit him with the Master Sword a whole bunch, and then we end up winning the Water Blight Ganon fight. And this is where I will leave off for this part of the challenge run. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you want to stay tuned for the next part of the series, please, make sure you subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching.